You're listening to the Broken Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review AEW Dynamite from June 22nd, 2022. It is the go-home Dynamite before Forbidden Door. We got a lot of things to talk about right here on the Dynamite review, but before I get on with all this craziness that happened on Dynamite, because there was a lot of shit that happened on this show. I haven't been uploading for a whole week, and honestly, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I apologize for you guys. Like, literally, I deadass did not upload for a whole week. I don't know why, but I just did not. I wanted to take a whole break, but, you know, I'm back, and hopefully we can get right back to business and, you know, giving you guys these weekly reviews. Not only that, I'm planning to do more stuff with the podcast as well, so be on the lookout for more stuff right here on the Broken Havoc podcast. But we got a lot of things to talk about right here on the Dynamite review. Before I get on with all this craziness, make sure to like and subscribe to the Broken Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, the Broken Havoc podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to check out the Broken Havoc podcast in audio format, it is available on all of those platforms. All right, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. Overall thoughts on this show. This show was absolutely insane. I absolutely loved what I saw on this show. Of course, this is the go-home show for Forbidden Door. And really, a lot of people were worried on what was going to be happening with the card for Forbidden Door, considering the fact that the injuries are running rampant. Not only in AEW, but injuries are running rampant everywhere. Not only in AEW, but they're running rampant in WWE as well. We have Cody Rhodes injured. We got Roman Reigns, who's taking a break off, but he's not injured. We have Randy Orton injured. We have freaking CM Punk, who is the AEW champion, injured. That's why they're going to be crowning an interim champion. You know, we got a lot of people injured now. Bryan Danielson is supposedly injured as well. It is absolutely freaking insane, and it's really affecting a lot of plans, and this show included as well. But thankfully, you know, from the looks of it, the card is actually really good for Forbidden Door, and I'm actually really excited to see what happens on this show. But, you know, we had a lot of things happen on this show. We had the Rainmaker. Yes, Kazuchika Okada made his AEW Dynamite debut. It was freaking awesome to see. Of course, he helped out, you know, Adam Cole, and he didn't help out Adam Cole, but he basically helped out Hangman Page getting attacked by Adam Cole and, of course, Switchblade Jay White. And it's now announced that it's going to be a four-way match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship between Hangman Adam Page, Okada, Jay White, and Adam Cole, which is definitely, you know, a lot of people thought it was going to be a tag team match, but I never saw that. I was like, this is definitely going to be a fatal four-way match, but I'll talk about that later on the review. Of course, we had the main event. We had Hiroshi, Tanahashi, and Jon Moxley team up to take on Chris Jericho and Lance Archer. We had Aussie Open and Will Ospreay take on Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy as well. Toni Storm wrestled Marina Shafir. Again, a lot of craziness that happened on the show, but really one of the highlights of the show, if not the highlight of Dynamite, was that Christian Cage promo. If you guys do not know, last week on Dynamite, after Jurassic Express lost the AEW tag team titles, Christian Cage did the unthinkable and turn heel on Jungleboy. It was absolutely freaking insane. And when the cameras on TBS were rolling, well, the cameras were still rolling after the show went off the air, but the cameras were still rolling, and you had Christian Cage literally tell Jungleboy's mother that, you know, she raised a piece of shit, which was absolutely insane. But the promo that he cut on Dynamite was freaking insane. Like, we got 2007 Christian back. Like, 2007 Christian in TNA, especially when he was a heel, he was a freaking savage. And, you know, honestly, man, that was definitely one of the best things on this show. But, Yeah, man, that we're going to talk about that later on right here on the review. But the first thing that we're going to be talking about, of course, is Bryan Danielson. Of course, Bryan Danielson was scheduled to face Zack Sabre Jr. at Forbidden Door this Sunday. Not only that, he was supposed to take part of the Blood and Guts match this next Wednesday, I should say, on Dynamite. Of course, we're going to be getting Blood and Guts, which, bro, we got Forbidden Door, and then we got Blood and Guts. Like, holy shit, those are 2 stacked nights right there alone. But we got Bryan Danielson segment, of course. Tony Schiavone interviews Bryan Danielson, and he talks about how it's been a great week to be an AEW fan, and it's been a great week to be a professional wrestling fan. Of course, we got Forbidden Door on Sunday, and we're going to see great professional wrestling. But then on Dynamite, we got Blood and Guts. He was expecting to be a part of those events, and actually talks about Zack Sabre Jr. Of course, Zack Sabre Jr. Ended up challenging Bryan Danielson, of course, after the Dominion show, which was the same show that Jay White won the IWGP title. So, a lot of stuff happened at the Dominion event, and also Hiroshi Tanahashi did win his spot to face Jon Moxley against Goto, to face, Jon Moxley at Forbidden Door, which I think I kind of messed up my words right there, but Tanahashi did beat Goto at Dominion to get that spot to face Jon Moxley at Forbidden Door, which was actually pretty obvious, by the way. But back to this. He talks about how he's expecting to be a part of Forbidden Door, and he talks about how he has good news and he has bad news. The bad news is, because of what Jericho and Hager did at Anarchy in the Arena, he is not cleared to compete at Forbidden Door or Blood and Guts. But his mind is still working at full capacity, and he is still freaking active. But the good news is Eddie Kingston has gone his way to say that he is a judgmental prick. And guess what? He is. And because of that judgmental prick, he has really high standards. And he talks about how, he's going to be having a mystery opponent to face Zack Sabre Jr. Not only face Zack Sabre Jr., but also take his spot at Blood and Guts next Wednesday. And he found that one person that, can take his place. So again, man, we got the mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent is not only going to be a debut, but it's going to be a new member, because I believe one of the commentators stated it's going to be a new member to the Blackpool Combat Club, which is definitely interesting to see. And I've seen a lot of people in the rumor mill and on wrestling Twitter just talking about this shit. Oh my God, who is going to be the mystery opponent for Zack Sabre Jr.? It has to be a technical wrestler, because Zack Sabre Jr. is technical. But honestly, I'm going to give you guys my speculation on who I think is going to be facing, Zack Sabre Jr. and also taking Bryan Danielson's place at Blood and Guts as well. There are 2 options that really come to mind. The first option is Johnny Gargano, and the second option is Claudio, a.k.a. Cesaro. The reason why I say those 2, I believe Johnny Gargano, a lot of people are stating Johnny Gargano is going to be All Elite in the near future. That could definitely be a possibility. But Claudio is very interesting, because Claudio, of course, he decided to not resign with the WWE a couple of months ago. And, now a lot of people are speculating that, hey, he could be, a part of, this match against Zack Sabre Jr. And honestly, Claudio, a.k.a. Cesaro, could be a great addition to the Blackpool Combat Club, considering the fact that him and Bryan are friends. But also it creates the discussion on what Eddie Kingston thinks about that, considering the fact that Eddie Kingston and Eddie Kingston and Claudio do not like each other in real life. They both have legitimate heat with each other. I believe that's the case. But again, I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities that can happen here. But honestly, my money is definitely on Claudio, man. I really want to see Claudio in AEW. I think it just makes perfect sense for him to be a part of the show, considering the fact that, Claudio is just, I mean, if you think of technical wrestling, I mean, it's definitely Claudio. And, bro, this guy is a freaking specimen of an athlete. So, definitely, I would really expect that, it would be Cesaro. But, again, we are going to have to wait and see. But, again, this is one of those examples that injuries are really affecting the pay-per-view card. But, again, it's a bad situation that AEW tends to turn into a good situation, because, of course, we got the interim world title match as well, because of the fact that CM Punk is injured. Again, these injuries are absolutely freaking insane. It's not even funny. Like, it's absolutely insane. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens in the near future. We're definitely, going to be getting that mystery opponent at Forbidden Door, and he is going to be revealed inevitably. All right. We got Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy taking on Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. Of course, that is Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. Overall thoughts on this match, man. This was a freaking barn burner of a match. I absolutely loved the match for what it was. It was an absolutely great match. Fantastic chemistry between everybody. It was a great match overall. Not only that, man, there were so many spots that happened that I literally couldn't keep up, and that's what literally happens with any tag team match. But overall, man, this is a fantastic match. Of course, this is a preview for Forbidden Door, which the match that is booked for Forbidden Door is going to be Will Ospreay taking on Orange Cassidy, which is going to be a great match overall. I'm definitely excited to see that match. A lot of people are kind of thinking of, wait, Will Ospreay of all people is going to be facing Orange Cassidy, but you really need to keep in mind that Orange Cassidy, yes, his gimmick is, basically him doing nothing and just being lazy. But we know when that bell rings, he will go all out when he wants to. And honestly, man, him taking on Will Ospreay is definitely a great decision. Not only that, him wrestling Will Ospreay is possibly going to be a really, really good match at Forbidden Door. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, but Will Ospreay is such a fantastic wrestler. If you guys haven't seen anything of Will Ospreay, I guarantee you, check out some of his matches on YouTube. He's probably right now one of the best in-ring performers in the world, and he definitely proved that last week in his match against Dax Harwood. His match against Dax Harwood is bar none possibly one of the best matches of the entire year. That match that he had with him was amazing last week, and honestly, I think him wrestling Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door is going to be no different at all. But the match starts. Trent Beretta and Mark Davis fight it out. Orange Cassidy makes the tag. Cassidy puts his hands in his pockets, and we get a shotgun dropkick by Cassidy. Rocky Romero makes the tag, but then Trent later tags in. Rocky goes for the clothesline into the corner on Davis, but then Cassidy pushes Davis to Roppongi Vice. Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy then get caught doing, I believe it was suicide dives that they try to do. I completely missed that part. But after that, they all get driven to the apron by all three members of the United Empire. Then once we go to commercial break and once we're back, Trent suplexes Kyle Fletcher. Then after that, Cassidy makes the tag. Then after that, Cassidy does his basically amazing kicks on both members of Aussie Open. Then after that, we get a double Hurricane Rana by Orange Cassidy. Then we get another Hurricane Rana again, a bunch of Hurricane Ranas and a bunch of head scissors during this match. He tries to go for the Tornado DDT. After that, Cassidy challenges Will Ospreay. Then Trent goes for a Hurricane Rana on Will himself, and then he sends Will to the outside. And then all three babyfaces take out all three heels on the outside as well. Then Trent Beretta takes Will Ospreay to the top. Then Rocky goes for the dropkick, and then Cassidy goes for a splash off the top. And then we get a cover and a near fall. Will then goes for the chop. Will then catches Cassidy with the DDT. We get a back elbow by Cassidy, and then Cassidy goes for the Stunt Dog Millionaire. And at this point, the hot tag is made. At this point, we get the head scissors by Rocky Romero on Mark Davis as well. Both Davis and Romero exchange shots. Then after that, Kyle Fletcher makes the tag. And then Aussie Open take out Rocky Romero and plant him to the mat. We get a cover and another near fall. Rocky fights back, and then we, after that, he goes for the slice, the sliced bread. And after that, Roppongi Vice go for the double knees on Kyle. Then after that, Cassidy makes the tag. Then Trent tries to go for the strong zero, but then Will hits a kick. Mark Davis then goes for the pile driver on Trent Beretta, but then we get a cover and a near fall. Then after that, Ospreay goes for the Sasuke special after that, but then he lands on his feet on the outside. Rocky then goes for a crossbody onto the outside as well. Trent then goes for the DDT on Davis. Then Cassidy makes the tag. Then he hits the orange punch. Then after that, we get a cover, and Roppongi Vice and Orange Cassidy win the match. But Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan come out with the basically to help out United Empire after their loss. But then they end up going to the apron. But what happens? FTR's music plays. They come out, and literally FTR came out with a huge ass pop. Of course, they are going to be facing Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan. Also, they're also going to be facing Roppongi Vice as well at Forbidden Door, and it's going to be for I believe it's for the IWGP tag team titles as well. I completely forgot, but yeah, man, this is definitely going to be a great match to see. Not only that, having FTR involved, I honestly will expect FTR to win those IWGP tag team championships. And honestly, no, it's a winner take. So I'm looking at the card right now. It's a winner take all match. So it's for the ROH tag team titles and the IWGP tag team titles as well. So I definitely do see FTR winning all those titles as well, which will then lead to FTR versus the Young Bucks 3, most likely at All Out, which will then be another winner take all match, which will then lead to FTR taking as well the AEW tag team titles as well. So then they would be a 2-time AEW tag team champions. But overall thoughts, man, great match overall. I'm definitely excited to see, the match at Forbidden Door. We're going to be getting FTR versus Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan, and also Roppongi Vice as well. That's going to be a freaking amazing ass match. Guaranteed FTR is going to be walking out not only with the ROH and AAA tag team titles, they're going to be walking out with the IWGP tag team championships. Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh backstage. They talk about how they're celebrating on going to India, and Jay Lethal cuts a promo on Samoa Joe wanting the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So basically, of course, Jay Lethal wants the ROH TV title. When that match is going to be happening, we do not know. We're going to have to wait and see. Apparently, Ring of Honor is going to be having Death Before Dishonor next month. I completely forgot the date, but it's going to be in July. So hopefully we'll get an announcement there, but we'll have to wait and see. We got Tony Schiavone interviewing Christian Cage after what happened last week, turning heel on Jungle Boy. Again, man, Christian Cage turning heel on Jungle Boy, it was definitely expected. A lot of people are saying that it was a little bit too late. I can understand that argument, but for me, I was totally fine with the way it went down, considering the fact that, of course, really, Christian Cage has been teasing a heel turn throughout these past couple weeks. He had that one segment where Christian just called Jungle Boy a loser and all that stuff. But really, the ending of this segment, having, the involvement with Luchasaurus and all that stuff, definitely teases a future split between both Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, and this would eventually lead to a future match between Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, which would then further elevate Jungle Boy. But this promo that Christian Cage cut, man, is absolutely insane, man. Like, all the shit that he said, I mean, bro, Christian Cage is such a savage. But he talks about how he can stand here all night to tell these people to shut up. He knows that the people of Milwaukee, Wisconsin are not intelligent. It's rude to make him talk over these people, and he tells them to shut their damn mouth. And he answers Tony's question. He didn't think Jungle Boy, basically he asked Tony Schiavone and he asked the rest of the people, do you guys honestly think Jungle Boy got away with letting him out and getting Christian Cage eliminated from the Battle Royal last year? So basically, this whole gripe is over the freaking fact that Jungle Boy last year eliminated Christian Cage from the Casino Battle Royal. And I thought of that and I'm like, is that really your reason? That is such a stupid ass reason. But after that, you had Tony Schiavone saying that is so petty. And after that, he talks about how the reaction he got was terrible, and Jungle Boy caused him a world title shot and also the bonus money. And, he talks about, here's the thing. Many of these people like Jungle Boy, and maybe he should. And we get a bunch of shut the fuck up chants. He says that he decided to go on social media to see everything about Jungle Boy. He says that we do not know anything about this business. And he basically starts, talking shit about all the people on Twitter, talking about how our opinion doesn't matter and all that stuff. He basically goes off on the fans. And he says that he's one of the best that stepped foot into this ring. Jungle Boy cost him a lot of money, and in his research, he found out that he was so talented. We think that he can come back to elevate younger talent. Nope. He came back to make a lot of money. Jungle Boy says that Jungle Boy has the talent but doesn't have the killer instinct. And that one time he walks down, he loses the tag titles, and then he shows basically Tony Schiavone. Then after that leads, he shows us what happened last week after, the show went off the air. The cameras were still rolling, and you had Christian Cage go after Jungle Boy's mom, saying you raised a piece of shit. And, talks about how he was only giving Jungle Boy's mom an opportunity to apologize for giving birth to him. And he talks about all his father figures and talks about how, his father is dead and all that stuff. Again, man, Christian Cage is such a fucking savage, man. And what happens after that? So he ends up talking about Jungle Boy's father. And Luchasaurus ends up coming out, and he proceeds to threaten Christian. And Christian still has the microphone, and he's literally yelling at Luchasaurus, what happened to Marco? He basically asks Luchasaurus, what happened to Marco Stunt? Of course, Marco Stunt is no longer part of Jurassic Express. He's no longer a part of AEW as well. And says that he's like a son to him, and talks him out of threatening him, and says that they need to talk backstage. So where is this going to be leading to? There's a lot of possibilities on where this possibly could lead to. I honestly genuinely believe that this is going to be the end of Jurassic Express. I definitely do feel like Luchasaurus is no longer going to be Luchasaurus. He's going to take the mask off and be a completely new character. Same thing as Jungle Boy. If this feud with Christian definitely, because I genuinely believe that this feud with Christian is going to be elevating Christian Cage. And honestly, in order to, not elevate Christian Cage, Jungle Boy, my God, my words are so, literally filming after not recording reviews after a whole week, literally, you tend to become like absolute garbage. But, again, this feud is definitely, set to elevate Jungle Boy as well, or I should say only elevate Jungle Boy. But if you're really going to have Jungle Boy go on a singles run, what I would do, I'd literally repackage Jungle Boy and just name him Jack Perry. That, like, Jack Perry, in my opinion, is where the money is. And honestly, this feud with Christian Cage is definitely going to be, the match he's going to have with Christian is going to be amazing as well. But honestly, man, I'm definitely excited to see where this goes in the future. We got the Bucks and Kyle O'Reilly backstage. They talk about Forbidden Door, and of course, they talk about El Phantasmo and Hikuleo. And basically, the Bucks are saying that they should join Bullet Club for one night only, and they challenge Sting and Darby Allin and two other opponents as well. So that's going to be an interesting bout. But what we all found out was the match that's going to be booked at Forbidden Door is going to be the Young Bucks in Hikuleo and El Phantasmo taking on Darby Allin, Sting, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromu Takahashi. So that's going to be a great match as well. They literally named them Dudes with Attitude, so that's hilarious to see. We got a qualifying match for the All Atlantic Championship between both Malakai Black and Penta Oscuro. Of course, we got the four-way match that's going to be happening. We got two four-way matches happening at Forbidden Door. We not only got the IWGP Heavyweight title match between Jay White, Hangman Page, Adam Cole, and also Okada, but we also got the All Atlantic Championship match happening to crown the very first AEW All Atlantic Championship. We got Pac versus Miro versus Tomohiro Ishii, who is now part of the match as well. And now Malakai Black, of course, Malakai Black did beat Penta Oscuro in order to advance to this fatal four-way match. But overall thoughts on this match, man. This match was absolutely insane. I absolutely loved the match for what it was. It was a great match overall, and I'm overall, man, like Penta and Malakai Black, both guys never disappoint. But honestly, when it comes to Malakai Black and the House of Black as well, I kind of feel like, that he's kind of fallen down the wayside, in my opinion, ever since, after that, Cody Rhodes feud. I just feel like he really hasn't been doing a lot of stuff. That's just my opinion. But hopefully, maybe he could be a contender or possibly even end up winning the All Atlantic Championship, because there's many different possibilities. You either got Pac, Miro, or Malakai Black to win this match. But I honestly, originally, I was going to be saying Miro should win this title, but he already had a taste of championship gold. So honestly, why not put the title on either a Pac or a Malakai Black? But, the match starts. We're going to be talking about the match. Both fight it out. We get an elbow by Black, but then Black goes on the apron, but then gets dropped. Then after that, Penta goes for a somersault on the outside. Both are in the ring. Penta goes for the backstabber, and then we get a cover and a near fall. Then we get a roll up by Malakai Black. Penta then goes for the sling blade. We get a kick by Black, sweeping Penta onto the apron. At this point, Black is in control. Once we're back from break, Penta then goes for the clothesline. And then we get a crossbody by Penta. Both are on the apron. We get a chop. And then after that, he takes Black for the pile driver, but then Black hits a boot. Malakai then misses the Black mass onto the apron, and then Penta goes for the enziguri. And then he takes Malakai, but Malakai escapes. Penta then goes for a rolling stunner after that. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Penta then takes Black to the top, but then we get a chop by Penta. Malakai then escapes. He goes to the top, and then he misses the double stomp. We got a jumping knee by Black, and then Penta goes to the outside. Black then misses. Well, he doesn't miss, but he hits a moonsault, and then he takes Penta back in. Black goes to the top, and then he goes for the double stomp. We get a cover and a near fall. Black then goes for the high kick. Black goes to the top, but then Penta comes back. Then Penta goes for the avalanche fear factor off the top. We get a cover and a near fall. And then we get another cover and a near fall when Black gets his foot onto the bottom rope. Then Black eventually goes for the Black Mass later on, and he ends up advancing and will now be a part of the four-way match at Forbidden Door, competing for the new AEW All Atlantic Championship. Honestly, Malakai Black was definitely the right choice to make, to be quite honest with you. I don't think Penta really, as much as I like Penta, I feel like Malakai Black out of both Penta and Malakai, I feel like Malakai needs this more than Penta. That's just my opinion, because of the fact that really, the House of Black isn't really doing anything. I know they're waiting for trios titles to be revealed, but again, there's only so long that you can wait. So honestly, having the All Atlantic title being put on Malakai Black wouldn't be a really bad decision in my opinion. We got Hangman Page versus Silas Young, which I'm not really that familiar with Silas Young, but apparently Hangman Page and Silas Young had bouts, like crazy-ass bouts in Ring of Honor. And honestly, this match was no different. Silas Young did look really good in this match. Overall, of course, Hangman got the win. But the match starts, both lock up. We got a takedown by Hangman. We got a side headlock by Young. Then after that, we get a side headlock takeover by both. We get a bunch of roll-up reversals. We get a chop by Hangman, but then Hangman gets taken into the corner. Then we get a chop by Silas Young. Both exchange chops, but then Young gets taken to the outside. Hangman then misses a crossbody, but then fires back into a clothesline. Hangman then goes to the top, and then he goes for the moonsault. Once we're back from break, both are on the top. Hangman eventually goes for the superplex on Silas Young. Both then exchange right hands. Hangman then counters a backslide and hits a fall-away slam. We got a running clothesline into the corner, and then he picks up Young, but then Young escapes. Hangman then goes for the lariat, but then he goes for the crossbody onto the outside. Hangman then goes to the top, and then he proceeds to hit the flying lariat as well. We get a cover and a near fall. Young then goes for the backbreaker. Then after that, we get a cover and a near fall. Young then plants him down to the mat, and then he misses a moonsault attempt, and then which will then lead to Hangman hitting a German suplex. And then he hits a clothesline. He goes to the apron and goes for the one and only buckshot lariat. We get a cover, and Hangman Page ends up getting the win. So Adam Cole gets the microphone, and what happens is Jay White immediately interrupts Adam Cole. If you guys do not know what happened last week, Adam Cole thought that, he was going to be getting the IWGP Championship title shot against Jay White, but it looks like Jay White was not going to defend his title on either Hangman Page or Adam Cole. It was going to be somebody else. But then now things are different, because it's very, very weird because of the current circumstances with all the injuries. But what happens is Jay White comes out and he feels like he owes Cole an explanation. And he talks about how he's responsible for all of this, and he is responsible for making Forbidden Door as big as it can be. His opponent at Forbidden Door can't still be him. He lost to Hangman twice, and he tells Hangman it won't be him. But then once Jay White is in the ring, both Hangman and Jay White fight it out. Then Cole comes in, but then, what happens is basically the heels gain the advantage, right? And what happens is while Jay White is beating down Hangman, all of a sudden Adam Cole has the IWGP title on his hands, and it looked like he was going to hit the title on Jay White, but then Jay White actually caught him, and it was not going to be the case. But what happens, you heard a freaking coin drop. And when you hear the fucking coin drop, you already know who that's going to be. It's freaking Kazuchika Okada. So Okada comes out, and he fights off Cole and Jay White, and he helps Hangman, which would then lead to Hangman and Okada both facing off, which you honestly thought it was going to be still a one-on-one match, but that is not going to be the case. So both face off when Cole and Jay White leave the ring. It's freaking awesome seeing Kazuchika Okada in AEW. Of course, I mean, Kazuchika Okada, when you think of New Japan Pro Wrestling, like it's definitely Okada, considering the fact that he's literally the face of that company. And honestly, what they were going to do is I thought they were going to book, separate matches they were still going to be having Hangman versus Okada, and Jay White was going to face whoever he was for the IWGP title. But that is not going to be the case. It has been announced last night on the show that it's going to be a 4-way match. We got 2 4-way matches at Forbidden Door. It's going to be Jay White versus Adam Cole versus Hangman Page versus Okada for the IWGP Championship at Forbidden Door this Sunday, which is going to be a freaking amazing-ass match. I mean, how great could you get? I mean, honestly, this card, again, is absolutely stacked with all the talent that's injured. Honestly, for what they have, this is not a bad card whatsoever. But overall, man, that's going to be a great match at at Forbidden Door. And it's not going to main event the show. The reason why I say it's not going to main event the show is because of the fact that we got an interim championship match, AEW World Championship match between both Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and that is going to be the match that is going to be closing the show. It's not going to be the Fatal 4-Way. That's just my opinion. We got Jade Cargill and the baddies talking about how they're looking for new baddies, and which would then lead to Chris Statlander and Athena backstage mocking all the baddies and Jade Cargill and talking about how they got Willow Nightingale. So we got Marina Shafir versus Toni Storm, which, was not a bad match whatsoever. It was a fine match. I'm not really that high on Marina Shafir. That is just my opinion. But the match starts. We get a bunch of technical wrestling by both. Marina then tries to apply the cross arm breaker, but then Storm escapes. We get a takedown by Marina Shafir. We get a side headlock by Storm. We get a dropkick by Storm, and then we get a sweep by Marina Shafir. Storm then runs into a high kick, taking Storm to the outside. Then Nyla Rose, who is partnered with Marina Shafir. Nyla goes for a senton without the referee looking on Toni Storm on the outside. Once we're back from break, then both fight it out. We get a headbutt by Toni Storm. Marina then takes her to the outside, but then Marina drops Storm and sends her to the steel steps. Storm then fires into the Tornado DDT, but then Storm takes her back in. We got a German suplex by Toni Storm, but then we get a running hip attack by Storm into the corner. We get a roll-up by Storm, and Storm wins the match. Nyla Rose then comes in and attacks Toni Storm, but then Thunder Rosa comes in for the save, and then both Storm and Rosa face off. Of course, Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm are going to be facing off for the AEW Women's Championship at Forbidden Door, which is going to be a great match as well. But honestly, do I see Thunder Rosa winning this match? I definitely do see her winning this match. I feel like it's way too early for her to drop that title to Toni Storm, but that is just me. And honestly, man, to me, I honestly feel like AEW needs to do more with Thunder Rosa, considering the fact that I feel like her title reign really hasn't been that good lately, and I really do believe that they really need to fix something when it comes to her title reign. After that, we got Sting and Darby Allin backstage to talk about their match at Forbidden Door. And the match announced, as I've stated earlier, is going to be the Bullet Club, the quote-unquote reunited Bullet Club with the Young Bucks and Hikuleo and El Phantasmo taking on Darby Allin, Sting, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromu Takahashi, which is going to be a great match as well. We got Phoenix versus Andrade announced for Rampage as well, which is going to be great as well. We got the main event. We got Chris Jericho and Lance Archer taking on Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Of course, Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi are going to be facing off for the interim AEW World Championship. Plus, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara are going to be teaming up with Minoru Suzuki, taking on Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino, which I'm not really familiar with Shota, but I heard, he's going to be, he's a really fantastic wrestler. So I'm definitely really excited to see where that goes. But we got this main event, which was a pretty good match for what it was. It was really nothing special. It was great to see Hiroshi Tanahashi wrestle in the main event. But really, we had a brawl breaking loose, and you had Moxley and Tanahashi literally face off in the middle of the ring while a freaking brawl was going on. But we'll talk about that later on. Both teams fight it out. Both Jericho and Moxley fight it out onto the outside. Archer and Tanahashi fight it out in the ring. Then after that, Moxley sends Jericho into the guardrail. Then after that, Archer goes for the full Nelson on Tanahashi. Jericho goes for a couple of chops on Tanahashi as well. Jericho then sends Tanahashi into the corner. He tries to go for the running bulldog, but Tanahashi counters. Then Moxley makes the tag. He works on Jericho. Then Moxley proceeds to close on Jericho onto the outside. Then he sends him to the timekeeper's area. Sammy then grabs the leg of Moxley. Jericho then goes for the springboard dropkick on Mox. He slingshots Mox onto the bottom rope. Then after that, Archer makes the tag. Moxley and Archer fight it out. We get a pounce by Archer on Moxley. We get once we're back from commercial break, Moxley then goes for a couple of chops on Jericho. Then we get a lion salt countered by Moxley when he tries to get the knees up. Then after that, Tanahashi tags in. We get a crossbody by Tanahashi, and then he plants Jericho to the mat, and then he goes to the motor rope, and then he hits a senton. We get a cover and a near fall. Jericho then catches Tanahashi for the walls of Jericho, but then Tanahashi goes for the roll-up, and then we get a near fall. Jericho then goes, I believe he went for the code breaker after that. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Moxley comes in. He goes for the suicide dive on Lance Archer. Both Tanahashi and Jericho exchange shots. Then after that, Jericho misses the Judas effect attempt. Then after that, Tanahashi takes him down. He goes to the top and then he goes for the crossbody, but he ends up getting caught by Jericho applying the walls. Then Moxley goes in with the cutter. Then we get a boot by Archer, and then Tanahashi ends up going for the sling blade. Moxley then makes the tag and he tries to clothesline Archer, but Archer no sells. He picks up Moxley for the blackout, but then Moxley hits the paradigm shift. Tanahashi makes the tag. He goes to the top and he ends up hitting the frog splash. We get a cover and Moxley and Tanahashi win the match. After that, what happens? Kingston ends up attacking Jericho. Of course, those are going to be adversaries, and they're going to be fighting off inside Blood and Guts next Wednesday. What happens after that? Yuta enters the fray. Kingston throws a chair on Sammy. Minoru Suzuki ends up coming in as well. Yuta and Suzuki fight it out. Then after that, Shudo comes in. A brawl ends up breaking loose between both factions. You got Moxley and Tanahashi literally facing off in the center of the ring while a freaking brawl is going on, and then the show ends. So that was Dynamite. Overall thoughts on Dynamite. Of course, this is the go-home show before Forbidden Door, and honestly, man, I thought the show was really good. It really did get me excited for what is going to be happening at Forbidden Door, and honestly, in my opinion, I think the card for Forbidden Door is looking really good, considering the fact that, AEW really had a lot of injuries going on that definitely affected the card and their plans for the show. But honestly, man, looking at the card, I mean, really, there's a lot of matches that I'm definitely really excited to see. I mean, we got the 4-way match for the All Atlantic title between Miro, Pac, Malakai Black, and Tomohiro Ishii. We got Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. We got a winner-take-all match between FTR, United Empire, that being Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb, and Roppongi Vice for the ROH and IWGP tag team titles as well. We got Jericho and Sammy Guevara and Minoru Suzuki teaming together to take on Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota. Then after that, Shota Umune, I think that's what his name. My apologies, man. I do not watch New Japan. But we also got Zack Sabre Jr. taking on a mystery opponent of Bryan Danielson's choosing, and I definitely do see it's going to be. I definitely see it being Claudio. And we also got the Young Bucks, Hikuleo, and El Phantasmo. Of course, we've seen Hikuleo before on AEW Dynamite, taking on Darby Allin, Sting, Shingo Takagi, and Himuro Takahashi. So we got a lot of great matches. We also got Will Ospreay versus Orange Cassidy, and also the IWGP 4-way match, Jay White versus Hangman versus Okada versus Adam Cole. So really, the card is looking absolutely stacked for Forbidden Door, and I'm definitely really excited to see what happens on this show. I mean, I'm definitely excited, man. As someone that doesn't watch New Japan, I'm definitely really excited to see all of these wrestlers, come together and really deliver a really good show. Like, honestly, the thing I'm going to say is because you have a lot of people complaining that, oh my God, I don't know any of these people. And honestly, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, like, just watch the show in order to see, who are these people. Like, that's what I'm doing. Like, give it a shot. I do not know why people are literally complaining so much over this fucking card. But, yeah, man, that is my AEW Dynamite review. Overall thoughts on this show. I thought the show was fantastic for what it was. It was a great show overall. And honestly, man, I'm really excited to see what happens in the near future when it comes to Forbidden Door. So honestly, man, before I get out of here, make sure to like and subscribe to the Broken Havoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the freaking referee would say, ring that damn bell for more notifications. So as always, that it is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.